Hello students, in this video we will discuss about secondary sex characteristics in reaching the age of adolescence, that lesson. See that before that I gave the introductions about that adolescence means what, when we will reach the adolescence, then girl child and female child, in between the age, what are the characters, what are the behaviors, what are the hormones will segregate during the puberty. Puberty means what? Maturity means what? Sexual maturity means what? Already you know very well. See, the secondary six characters. That means what? The secondary means is not a first one. This is a second. It's not a first process. The first process means already you know the how living hormones then itself the present in the first primary sexual characters. That's a gonads. You know very well. See, the gonads will start out the segregations of the hormone. That's a male means you consider testosterone, or female means you consider estrogen, progesterone, like that. This is the secondary. Secondary sex character means the morphological structures. Whenever you see the male and female is not a same, that is dissimilar. Dissimilar is not present in same as for a male and female. The morphologically is the differ. Morphologically differ means whenever you see that time you can identify it easily. This is a male child or this is a female child. Like that you can identify it. How? When you see that morphological structures, the responsibility in the secondary sex characteristics. What are that? See, the secondary sex characteristics are the physical feature which distinguish male from female. The physical feature, that means the morphological structure. The physical, male means what present like that. The female means the present in the sweetness, the voice sweetness, the present, and the broad shoulder present in the male child, the hair long present in the female child, like that. See, after that, progressions of puberty, boy and girl become dissimilar in appearance. Become dissimilar. The before that, the puberty you will not identify it can easily. After the puberty, you can identify it easily. The secondary sex characters are regulated by the hormones. The testosterone or androgen segregated by the testes of the male. So the what are the sexual hormones segregated in male? Like that, as given it, just you have right that the hormones testosterone. Testos. Or androgen. This is a male and female. Female. See, the androgen segregated the testes of the male and estrogen. Estrogen segregated by ovaries. This segregated by ovaries. Of the female, see the very simple. This is a male child will segregate the sex hormones, that is testosterone or androgen. This is the segregated in sperm cells, that is male, and female estrogen segregated by ovaries. This is a egg cell. This is the female child. So, which hormone is segregated in the during the puberty in male and female means you have to write this. And then androgen causes the growth of the larynx muscular development. Larynx means this is the Adam apple. You know that. See that will get the maturity or the puberty persons or adolescence persons. You see that person's voice is modified. Voice is totally changing. The hardness the present male child. Male child only present in hardness voice. And the muscle development, skeletal size and the distribution of the body and pubic hair and the stimulation of sweat gland, estrogen and progesterone. See the pubic hair. Pubic hair means you consider in the face like the present and whiskers like that. That's a pubic hair. And then underarm regions present in the hairs. That's a pubic hairs. This is the secondary sexual characteristics. And the stimulating of sweat gland. The stimulating and sweat gland. That means the body temperature will be increased. And estrogen and progesterone are the female sex hormone. Estrogen and then progesterone. Estrogen and then progesterone is a female sex hormone. Estrogen stimulates the development of the breast. They stimulate development of the breast, the external, the genitalia, pubic and axillary hairs, and the distribution of body fat. Body fat distribution. See that now I explain about the secondary sex characters of boys. Secondary sexual characters of boys. The first one, the following have the secondary sex characteristics of the boy. The first one, hair. First one, hair. See, immediately after the development of the primary sex characters, the pubic hair appear, followed by axillary and facial hair. After the get puberty, the puberty after that immediately will develop in pubic hair, that's a facial hair and axillary hairs. And second one, skin. Skin. The skin become porous and the pores in the skin enlarged. That means the broad the shoulder, you know that. The before that young persons is not having the broad shoulder. After get the puberty, that person the shoulder will elongated. That's a skin. And then gland. Next one, gland. See, the oil producing gland in the skin enlarge and due to these hands may appear on the faces. You know that after the meat eaters or after the workers, you see that face itself they are having an oil gland. The face itself they are having in oils, the nose corner and then face look here present in oils. That's a responsibility of the after the puberty, the before puberty, that person is not present in oil gland. Not present means that is not functioning that oil gland. But once reach that puberty, after that will started the process of oil gland. And then muscle. The strengthening of the muscles increase and it gives shape to arm, leg and shoulder. Before that I told you know the broad shoulder. After that you see that will create the shape. The hand shape and legs and shoulder shape will be created at the same time. That will increase the strengthness of the muscles. Muscles strengthness increase and voice. During this period, voice changes occur and the voice become husky. That's a enlarged voice. Then in pitch drop and the volume increase. The male child, after the puberty, after that the voice sound will be increased. That's a secondary sexual characters of boys. Now I explain about the secondary sex characters of girl child. See, the first one, hip. Due to the enlargement of the pelvic bone and the development of subcutaneous fat, the hip become the wider and rounder. That means the hip regions will be enlarged and then rounder. The before that is not enlarged. After that, after the puberty will enlarge the hip regions and then the shape will be changed. That's a round like shape the present. And then breast. After the enlargement of the hip, the breast began being to develop during this time. See, the once reach the puberty, the first enlarge the hip regions. After the hip region enlarged, the breast regions will start the development and the time. And then hair. Pubic hair appeared followed by axillary and body hair on the limbs. Body hair and the limbs and the pubic hair. And muscles. Increase in muscles take place which give shape to shoulder, arm and leg. The same male and female child will be enlarged in the muscles, but the strengthness will increase in voice. The girl child is not increase in strengthness. And then voice become shrill and voice break are rare among girls. Voice break rare among girls, but at the same time the male child voice will increase the high pitch, the drop of the high pitch sound. And skin, the skin become the courier and the porous enlarged as in the causes of boys. Gland, oil producing gland become active causing hands on the face. The same male and female, the presence of the secondary sexual characters. Now explain about what are the difference between the secondary sexual characters, the boys and girls. What are the difference between, that means the DB questions. What are the difference? See, the first writing girl child and boys. See, the first point, height and weight increase. Girl child, height and weight increase. Here, height and weight increase the same. And fatty and subcutaneous tissues develop. Second point, fatty and tissues. Now, and here muscles. And you brought that one. You brought this. And here shoulder. The voice becomes full. Both of them. And here, voice break takes place due to lengthening of voice cord. Due to lengthening of vocal cord and breast development. Last one, you are writing breast development. See, you know that what are the secondary sexual characters in male and female? That's a boys and girl child. See the first one, hair. You know that the immediately after development happens in a puberty in male child, then pubic hairs. And the skin, gland, muscles, voice. The same in female child, ear, breast, hair, muscles, voice, skin and gland. The secondary sexual characters means is not started, the function is the beginning itself. That before that the present and primary gonads, the sexual organs will started that process. The sexual organs will start out the segregation of the hormones, thereafter only will be started the secondary sexual characters. See, this is the difference between the secondary sexual characteristics in girl, child and boy. See, the height and weight increase as well as the same, the male child also height and weight will increase, and then fatty and supporting nerves tissues develop. But here the muscles develop and hip broadens. Here the boys' shoulder broadens, and the boys become straight. That means the sweetness boys are present in girl child after the puberty, but the boy child will present the high pitch in the after the puberty. And then here the developed in breast. Here not developed in breast. That's a size of the penis increase. Here the breast size will be increased in the girl child, and the boy's child will be increasing the size of the penis. Next, see the role of the hormone in reproduction. Role of the hormone in reproductions. What are the roles? See, the segregation of the hormones only want to decide that sexual activity or not. Sexual activity or not. The responsibility of the hormones only. In case that person is not segregated, the hormones means that person is not eligible for the sexual activity. So, before that they want to segregate in the hormone in activity. What are the hormones? What are the hormones that segregated in our body? They are related to the sexual activities. See that the first one, role of hormone in reproduction. Role of hormones in reproduction. See, the primary hormones that regulate the reproductions are the steroids such as androgen, estrogen and progesterone, which have masculinizing and then feminizing and gastroid effect in respectively. These hormones are segregated from the gonads, which are regulated by the anterior pituitary. See, before that, the hormones segregation means how it's the presence of the endocrine gland only main responsibility of the segregation of the hormone. That means the main endocrine gland. What are the endocrine gland that present in our body? Before that, you want to know that. What are the endocrine gland? See, there are so many endocrine glands that present in our body. That most of the gland is called the pituitary. That pituitary is classified in two types, or the two divisions. That is the neurohypophysis and then hypophysis. Neurohypophysis and hypophysis. That is the posterior pituitary and anterior pituitary. Each pituitary will involve in specific functions. There are so many hormones will segregate. Each and every hormones that are involved in some specific functions. The example, already the female child itself the presence of the estrogen, progesterone and relaxation. That is the hormones. And male itself the present in testosterone. Other than they are having in some hormones. That hormones that are involved in some specific functions. See, the gonads which are regulated by the anterior pituitary adenohypophysis. That is the adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. In male and female reproductive behavior and reproductions are mainly under the control of LH. Under the control of LH. LH is one of the hormone. This hormone is segregated by the adenohypophysis. That is adenohypophysis. This is which hormone means this is luteinizing hormone. This is L for luteinizing, H for hormone. Luteinizing hormone. That is the short form of LH and FSH. FS, that is a follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating this is FSH. And see the LH stimulates the testes to the produce in androgen. This is LH, the responsibility of the production of the androgen. That is LH, luteinizing hormone. And The male sex hormone, the sperm, are then actively produced in man's sperm. The production starts at the sexual puberty and many continues throughout his life. Throughout his life. That means one male child will reach the puberty, end of the life. In between end of the life, up to will segregated in testosterone hormone. That's not stopping in between. In case in between is not segregated means maybe the presence of the sperm cells is not active. The presence of the sperm cells is not active. That not active means that person is not eligible for sexual activity or that person is not possible will produce a new child. So, who those are want to produce a new child, that persons want to present in active sperm cells in our body. Active sperm cells want to present. That means you know that very well. The sperm cells the present and the head position and the tail, the two regions the present. The tail regions the present in the maximum amount of the mitochondria. The tail regions will given the external pressure. That's a reason that will move one place to another. The sperm cells the present like that. This is the head. So this is the sperm cell. Male sex cell. So these cells want to move from one place to another place inside the egg cells. This having an actively means that person is eligible for the sexual activity. This one is not functioning. That means this is the present and as per the same like. But here presence of the mitochondria is not given the external pressure. This one want to present the external pressure because of this time only want to involve an action. So this involve the action, the towards will move that head position. The backs are given the external pressure. In case is not given the external pressure means the tail region is not given the external pressure. This head position is not moving from one place to another. Just an example, whenever you enter the room itself or room inside, they are having the door, they are mentioned in push and pull. Towards you have to apply some force. Then only you will enter inside the room. The same thing is. Here the process of the maximum mitochondria take place. So sometimes we will ask the interior questions which cells that consist in maximum amount of the mitochondria. That time you have to write that maximum amount of the mitochondria that take place in the human sperm cells in tail region. Human sperm cells in tail region only the present in maximum amount of the mitochondria. Why they are present in mitochondria? Because of the mitochondria own itself will be prepared an energy. That energy you want to produce. That energy we want to provide. That energy with the help of the energy, this sperm cells will move from one place to another place. See, let us the quick revision in today's session. Secondary sexual characteristics. Secondary sexual characteristics means the nothing but the before itself the presence of the gonads. That gonads will start out the sexual activity. During the sexual activity at the puberty, after that they are having in some changes. What are the changes that are present in our body itself or morphological structures? The changes that is called in secondary sexual characteristics. The changes that may be the present in voice itself they are having changes and muscles itself they are having skin itself they are having broadness of shoulder and hip regions will be enlarged and then round shape will be changed. The hip regions of the especially in female child like that some changes are appearing in the morphologically that is called the secondary sexual characters. And then what are the difference the secondary sexual characters in between the male and female means that time you have to frame that DB and then you mention that the girl child the present and height and weight will be increased as well as the boys also height and weight will be increased. Here the breast will be developed, and then here the increased size of the penis, and then here the hip region enlarged. This side the shoulder will be enlarged, and then here the sweetness voice will be modified. Here the high pitch sound voice breaking. Like that you have to mention that. And the role of hormone in reproduction, then what are the hormones that are present? That's a hormone segregations from the endocrine gland. What are the endocrine gland present in our body? You know that that's a main responsibility of the gland in pituitary. Pituitary gland is the classified in two types. That is a neurohypophysis and then adenohypophysis. The adenohypophysis, they are responsible for the hormones in LH and FSH. LH for the full form of the luteinizing hormone. FSH, the follicle stimulating hormone. This the luteinizing hormone is the responsibility of the segregations in the androgen by testosterone. The testosterone will segregate in androgen. That's a male sexual hormone. That's a male sexual hormone. Thank you.